Okay, so I want to start out by explaining this thing to you because you really had a good idea about how this could be like a presentation to faculty members that are having special needs students in their classroom, sensory processing students in their classroom, and they don't need that sped room. They just need extra things to help them with these kind of students. So as a sped teacher, I could help address different things. So we're going to start out with the types of sensory processing disorders that they may encounter in their classrooms: the over-responsive, the under-responsive, and the craving. As you see, the over-responsive is most of those sensitive children are the ones on the Asperger's spectrum. They have autism. It could be low, it could be high. Their central nervous system in body is oversensitive with info in the environment. So much things coming at them in the classroom. They could be super smart. They could be extremely smart, but all that information, all that tension from people talking, moving, lights could all affect them. So over-responsive. Now the next one is under-responsive. They're normally quiet, passive, do not respond to stimuli. They do not respond to you talking to them. They're the ones that are just like, they just don't talk in class. They don't participate, but they're connecting. They're connecting, but you aren't going to realize that because, like it says, does not respond to stimuli. Pain, hot or cold to touch, they don't realize it. They're just low, always very, very, doesn't show their senses as much, doesn't show how they're feeling, yes, their feelings as much. So these ones are going to be very hard to work with, but there's ways to do so. And then craving. These ones have the ADHD, they have ADD. These are the ones that are always moving, always need something. They look at these students as the ones that need and want the stimuli or attention from the stimuli. They want that. They want to act up, so you look at them. So people look at them and pay attention to them. They're the ones that aren't getting that attention at home at all, or could be getting too much of it, or there's so many scenarios with all of these different sensory processing disorders. So now I'm just going to break these down for you and into the senses that students have: hearing, seeing, smell, taste, touch, tactile, and movement. They're all going to be broken down for you, and we're going to see the things that we need to listen for, words to listen for, signs to watch for as teachers, so we can get these students help. So hearing, words to listen for: it's too loud, that hurts my ears, please turn it down, what did you say, can you repeat, and I can't hear you. So for that, loud sounds, that is going to affect those over-responsive students. So it's too loud, it hurts my ears, please turn it down. It doesn't affect them more. It might be too soft, really, but for them, it is too much. The light is too much. We're not just seeing yet, but hearing, the sound is too much. Under-responsive can be like, what did you say? It needs things repeated because they aren't there. They're in a cloud. So that's something for the under-responsive students. And it also could be for the craving students. They need you to repeat, or they need things louder. I can't hear you. I can't, because it's not loud enough for them. They need it fast, loud. So that's different things for hearing. Signs to watch for: loud talking. That is for sure the craving. They have always that loud voice because that's how they process. Non-stop talking, that's for the craving disorder. And hands over ears, that's for that under-responsive. It's too loud, it's too sensitive. They're just too sensitive. Seeing, words to listen for seeing is: my eyes are tired today, the light is bothering me, and I have a headache. I have a headache is one that can go so many different ways, so I'll get to that one. But my eyes are tired today, that is going to be ones that are under-responsive. It's just affecting them. Same with the light bothering them. That could be something too, but also could be those over-responsive ones. They could say that they're affected by the bright light, or that their eyes are tired, But that tired eyes are gonna be those under respected because they're just under responsive because they're just the stimuli is not affecting them. They're just tired. But I have a headache. It's gonna go every single way. How I like to explain this one is over responsive. I have a headache because it's too much. The light, the sound, for the seeing, it's too much. For the under responsive, they have a headache because they just want out of there. They don't want to do it. But then for that craving, that's where the stimuli, they're grasping it, getting it to get your attention. They might not have a headache. So find ways to cope with that headache that the craving, sensory craving people have, because they're taking something they heard from someone else and moving it in to stimuli that they can work off of with people. I have a headache, that hurts my head. They're going to be loud, they're going to be disruptive. So look for those. Signs to watch for: no eye contact. Under responsive, they're not going to eye contact with you. Distracted by things. This can be the craving, or this can be the over responsive. And writing in a slant. This is the under responsive. They're just doing it to get it done. Okay, smell and taste. Need to go a little faster, I'm running out of time. Let's not put those things in our mouths, tongues and mouths. This is words to use. The words, you need to tell them that it's not okay to do. Words to listen for: that smells funny, ew. Signs to watch for: scrunched up nose, tongues out a lot and covering their nose. That's signs to see that they're just too sensitive for that stuff. You need to look for these signs. You need to use good word choice. Let's not put those things in our mouths, or tongues and mouths closed. So they remember it needs to be done so that they can help with their senses. Touching and tactile, signs to look for: hand washing a lot, not washing their hands, never touching or playing with anything, looking at hands, nail imprints in the palms from squeezing too hard, clothing choice, and limited group participation. These students are the ones that don't want to touch anything, don't want to be by the germs. It can be for any sensory processing students. And movement signs to look for: activity in the playground, how they write or hold a pencil, just like that slanting of the writing in the seeing. You're gonna see that the way the walk, run, jump, or play, feelings when moved in the classroom. If you move them away from their friends, if you move them by someone they don't like or they think is icky, their feelings, you're going to see the way they process in class. It might be different. Participation with others in all areas of school, and pace in everyday life. If they're slow moving, never getting anything done, or fast paced like those ADHD kids, always watch your students. So I just really enjoyed this one, actually. I didn't know which route to take, if I should make a PowerPoint for the students, make a PowerPoint for myself to understand, but this is good for teachers, for me as a sped teacher, to show my future teachers on how to help those sensory processing disorder students in their classroom that don't need to be sent out, the ones they can just help in their classroom. And me, even if I'm a future teacher in a classroom instead of a sped teacher, it's good for me to know these things. So I thought this was a very, very important PowerPoint to make.